have they come across a long way. The first time a rating system was launched was in 2004, and since then, how have green buildings come a long way in India, and what is in store for us in the future, and also a brief in what basically a green building talks about. So, like I said, a green building is one which uses less water, optimizes energy efficiency, conserves natural resources, and also talks about being healthy, being spaces being livable, spaces being stress-free, spaces being acoustically, visually, thermally comfortable, and finally also talks about conserving resources and making sure that we use the resources efficiently so that we can leave them for our generations that will follow us. So, green buildings are such. Initially, when I entered this industry, the green building industry, back in the year 2008, uh, the perception of a green building was a lot of people confused whether a green building should be colored as green because the color can pose any natural look or something like that. And I'm talking about a layman understanding. That is when a decade ago, or a green building would have a lot of trees, would have a lot of plantation. That is entirely untrue. The definition is a lot more than that. Green buildings back then were also believed to be more expensive and unaffordable. A lot of people used to think it is only for the luxury segment. Right now, we have so many forms of green buildings. It is very affordable and oftentimes costs less than a conventional building. So, green buildings, in definition itself, have evolved whether it is the engineering design understanding, whether it is architectural understanding, or understanding of layman. In the past, the actual intention uh, the green buildings have trees all over and can be green in color. The past actual intention used to be use of less use of efficient plantation that does not consume less that doesn't consume more water, collecting rainwater, making sure we utilize all that rainwater, dual plumbing, things like insulation on the ceiling, insulation on the wall, well-designed passive design systems such as overhangs, technology interventions such as carbon dioxide sensor, carbon monoxide sensor in the parking spaces, energy efficient windows, uh, roof interventions such as vegetated roofs or light colored roofs, and use of solar panels, use of alternative source of energy for hot water such as solar hot water systems, use of geothermal pumps. So these were some technologies that were encouraged in any green building design back then. And I would not disagree that this continues to be one aspect of green building design even today. However, how have we evolved, especially in today's time when we are battling the COVID-19 situation and most of us are locked inside either our homes or our offices and are not having much interaction with the outdoor world? Buildings have started proving to be a very important aspect of our life. Buildings have also grown in numbers in India, it is said, and the trend is very visible as well, that the number of buildings that existed in 2020 are going to increase by at least thrice by the year 2030. And apart from it, since the community talks a lot about discusses a lot about effects of air conditioning and sustainability relevant to the heating, refrigeration, and air conditioning world. 40% of these buildings at times, especially the commercial buildings, consume electricity because of air conditioning. The government is also coming up with a lot of cold storage plants and a lot of food storage and warehousing plans. The warehousing numbers are going up, and so the role of buildings in our day-to-day lives is going up day by day. The role that buildings have played, whether it is visual comfort, acoustic comfort, comfort in general day-to-day well-being, infection transmission. Each building has its own parameters through which it will continue to impact you in the ways that it has never impacted before. Because in the past, we have never spent so much time inside a building. Uh, till date, uh, the rough statistics, till date, about 3,200 to 3,500 buildings have only identified as green buildings across the country. Now imagine the size of country we are, with so many towns and cities, buildings around, especially if those of you are from Jaipur and uh, have seen the city grow, the number of buildings, whether it is office buildings, hospitals, uh, buildings like warehouses, have grown exponentially even in your own cities. And 3,500 is a very low number in front of that looming large growth. So, so the role that we have today in front of us because of these increasing number of buildings has also increased, and therefore the definition of green building has also changed, has evolved. In fact, not really changed, but it has evolved from just being an environmentally sustainable building, talking about energy efficiency, water efficiency, and air quality, to things like thermal comfort, visual comfort, acoustic comfort, disease prevention, infection transmission prevention, healthy living, talking about the capability to provide connectivity with the nature, and so on. So the definition of green buildings has evolved, and which is a very good news for us being in the industry, because it is an evolving industry. Uh, Especially if you see products like air conditioning, products like lighting, all of them have evolved, but overall the definition of has something that was less catered to in the past and has now become very center of design systems. You would want to sit on a chair, you would want to work on a table that is ergonomically comfortable, especially before the pandemic when people were commuting and working in 8 to 12-hour shifts in office jobs. India has really emerged as a large country with a large segment of white collar jobs where the IT sector mandates people to work for 8 to 12 hours each day sitting on a desk job. And therefore, their comfort would be primarily defined by ergonomic comfort. While we were earlier focusing on just saving energy, saving water, having good air quality, now we are focusing on healthy human beings that green buildings have to provide. The mandate from the beginning for a green building was always to make sure that the sick building syndrome is taken care of. The occupants are more comfortable. You would see in benefits of green buildings, whenever someone talks, they say the attendance of people inside that building has improved after we made a green building because the comfort levels have gone up. But those comfort levels have different definitions for different building types and for different people. In a warehouse, the ease of the person loading the goods to the truck, for him that ergonomic might be the distance of platform to the loading container or things like that, whereas in an IT office it will be the height of the chair and design of the table and chair combination. But all those things were earlier only things catered to in very special projects, large projects with premium budgets. But now as buildings evolve, uh, these things will become commonplace, and green buildings will impact our day-to-day lifestyles in ways more than today. We had nearly about two rating systems in India. There was LEED version 2. LEED had partnered with IGBC in India and had come to India. And that was the one rating system, and the other rating system was Griha, which was developed by Terry uh, indigenously. So there were two rating systems in India back then, and that is where the green building movement began. Also, there was ECBC 2007 that was launched, and it was far from being implemented. ECBC, just to let you know, caters to commercial buildings, and has been the 2007 version for commercial buildings has been made mandatory by a lot of states by now. And we already have a ECBC 2017 version, which is in the process of notification in several states, including Rajasthan. In fact, Rajasthan was the first state to notify the ECBC 2007 version in the entire country. The version 2 of LEED evolved. It went to the version 4. Back then, there used to be generalistic rating systems. LEED and IGBC used to call it the new building rating system and existing building rating system. Now, LEED calls it building design and construction. It has a separate rating cities. It has a separate rating system for homes, which was earlier only for the US. LEED has a process called ARC, where you can dynamically put data and assess the performance of your building. The existing buildings has been changed to operations and maintenance. And from version 2, LEED went from version 2 to version 3, and then now at version 4. So the rating system has also evolved a lot, catering to all these needs that I spoke about just a few minutes. Griha has now also launched several other ratings, which includes the existing building rating, the large development rating, schools rating, and Swagriha, which is also small, versatile, and affordable Griha for projects such as those below 25,000 square feet. So earlier it was also perceived that green buildings are only meant for large buildings because a lot of things cannot be done in a small building, and therefore Griha came up with the Swagriha rating system, which caters only to small buildings. It has to be definitely affordable. If it is an individual house or a small office space, it has to be affordable, but at the same time meet the objectives of the green building, and that is what the Swagriha rating system does. ECBC is, like I said, it's not a rating system, but to make it more attractive, make it more make it more adaptable and voluntarily driven, ECBC has also come up with 3 levels, which is ECBC normal compliance, ECBC plus, and super ECBC. And the 2017 ECBC guideline has already been notified in states of Himachal Pradesh and a few others, and the notification is being actively followed and pushed in several other states. So I'm just trying to tell you how long a way have we come from in just the last 1 decade in terms of a society and a community which was perceiving green buildings to be just green, uh, to a society which has implemented codes like anything, which has come along so far with ECBC, has active green building rating systems that are not only two, but so many global rating systems are now working in India. Going forward, IGBC now has its own rating system in India and has more than 23 ratings catering specifically to specific building types, whether it is warehouses, whether it is mass transit systems, whether it is homes, existing residential societies, new buildings, and so on. IGBC continues to lead the way with more than more than 1,500 buildings already certified in the entire country, and these numbers continue to rise. So this has played a big role in creating awareness, but still there is a long way to go. We have a lot of buildings. There are specific rating systems operating, which were operating globally earlier, are now also operating in India. These includes the sites rating system. There are places like zoos, Reliance is building that is going for the sites rating system in India. These the sites rating system specifically caters to buildings, and rather not buildings, these are landscapes accompanying buildings, where the primary function is the land and the site development, such as a zoo. It can be a urban organic farm. It can be anything which is just a site. International Financial Corporation has developed the edge rating, and the edge rating has been really very popular in India. A lot of hospitals have gone for edge rating. A lot of affordable housing projects have gone for edge rating. and ISC is also pushing the green building movement in India. Passive House is a very popular global rating system originating out of Germany, and that has also now come in India. Not many buildings that it has certified, but their entry in India also signifies that India is now finally ready to adapt to different ratings, ready to adapt to different concepts, which can be global, international, and tweaking them to the Indian scenario and making India a more greener, more sustainable place. BRIAM, which is a very research focused and internationally acclaimed rating system, as old as LEED globally, has also come to India, and BRIAM is now actively pushing projects in India, and again, that is a good news. Like CII, ASSOCHAM has also launched a rating system which is called the GEM rating system, which has come with 3 to 4 ratings such as existing building, factory buildings, new buildings, etc. And they have also been pushing the green building movement in India. One interesting rating system that has also come in is the WELL rating system. WELL rating system is focusing on wellness rather than just the building performance. The Well Building Institute is focusing on wellness, and especially in tough times of COVID, the rating system has really picked up well in the Indian scenario. So, what happens with a lot of rating systems coming in and a lot of people certifying these projects? The movement gets the green building movement overall gets a faster push, and people get to know which direction to move in. They get to know different ideas that they can pursue. They get to know a lot of different concepts that have been actively followed in different countries, and therefore ensuring that the country itself adds a lot more projects in the future than it has added in the past. So till now, we only have about 3,500 odd projects across the country, and going forward with all these rating systems trying to push the entire ecosystem, I'm sure that these numbers will are bound to rise. And the future about net zero was just a concept, and then buildings like the Indira Paryavaran Bhavan and several others implemented the net zero concept in India, and the net zero buildings now are going net positive. A lot of buildings going net positive, where not only they are consuming the electricity they generate, but also add electricity to the grid and help the national grid. So with active renewable energy systems, with policies such as open access, uh, the government's pushing solar energy like never before. And open access is not just in books. Net metering is not just in books. It's actually implemented with several states adding many hundreds of megawatts every year. Not only in terms of energy, but also in terms of water. Buildings have started becoming self-sufficient. There is a building in Jaipur. It's an office building which is working without municipal water connection, and it is one of our history members' office building, and it is working without a municipal connection, and they are consuming the rainwater. They are storing the rainwater, treating it, and consuming it throughout the year, and it is working fantastically. So concepts have evolved. Net zero has gone to net positive. Performance disclosure, people were usually afraid of sharing performance data, but now people are coming forward, and performance disclosure is seen in a very positive spirit. Existing buildings are trying to improve. Uh, Energy efficiency is rising. New products are coming in every day, and the competition and the entire ecosystem, even companies which are not very linked to sustainability, are focusing on sustainability. There is a rating which is a real estate sustainability benchmark, where a lot of large developers are reporting their data life cycle analysis is starting to become the norm, where you analyze how much a building will consume from its cradle or cradle to gate, where you can assess that what is your product might be coming from only 400 kilometers. Your product might have recycled content, but was it manufactured sustainably? Was it demolished sustainably? Was it again reused sustainably? So those kind of things are captured in a life cycle analysis, and that is now picking up and going to be the future of assessments and analysis in the green building sector. So, taking over green building, we always say it should have proper orientation so that we have daylight. Until now, daylight has only been focused in regularly occupied spaces that are usually occupied throughout the day. But now people are coming up with concepts where non-regularly occupied spaces should also have daylight. Pilot credits have been introduced in several rating systems regarding this, and we might see entirely daylit buildings also in the future. There are several other concepts such as glazed north facades, passive. These are all passive measures which do not cost us anything, but have in India, especially when we have a life cycle of over 100 years for buildings, 50 to 100 years. These small changes can have very large impacts, very large cumulative impacts on the global and the local environments. Rainwater harvesting is starting to become popular, especially after uh, awareness that has been created by the government. A lot of people are now willing to do rainwater harvesting, even in small size plots. Large size plots, it's already mandatory and getting implemented. STPs are becoming popular. There was a lot of problems a decade ago about implementation of STP, smell issues, and so on, which are getting better with technology interventions as the day passes. Indoor air quality. No one used to think a lot about indoor air quality, and used to be a futuristic concept when the green building rating systems got introduced in India. However, with the rising awareness on pollution, and Delhi and several other Indian cities topping the charts in terms of pollution, air quality is now a major concern, and people are willing to change their lifestyles. People are willing to change the way they consume to enhance indoor air quality. Eco-friendly climate control. Waste disposal is a massive problem, but India is adapting to that change. Hyderabad, if you've been to it, hosts one of the largest landfill capping projects of India, where the entire landfill has been capped so beautifully that you wouldn't realize you were standing in a landfill when you go there. So India is evolving in that front too. I've seen municipalities becoming very active in waste collection, pushing the residents to do segregation at source, and it is only getting better by the day. Apart from landfill capping, India has also led the way in waste to energy plants. There are several plants that I have seen personally, including those in Hyderabad, Delhi, and several other cities. So waste disposal is also being catered to at a very fast. Life cycle green building, it includes the reuse, recycle, and reduce. And one new R has been added of late, which has become very popular during the COVID times, which is called refuse. So if you say no to something, no to consumption, try to consume less, then that is also a very sustainable measure. Sourcing local construction material, use of efficient use of water, water efficient landscaping, savings during consumption, environmental control, water management, disposal such as solid waste control strategies, grey water handling are all a part of building. What next? The title of today's presentation, what next? Till now, like I said, we've been focusing on energy, we've been focusing on air quality, we've been focusing on water recycling. The future, the next 5 years, the next 7 years, I think it will be really difficult for anybody in our generation to predict more than 5 to 10 years, because what you have seen in the last 10 years has really changed as per what anybody would have expected. Local food production is being given a push in the system. Can your building produce its own food? Can it use technologies like hydroponics and aquaponics and produce its own food within the building? You must have heard about energy certificates or renewable energy certificates. Uh, there are concepts which talk about similar certificates in the water domain. They are called water restoration certificates. Can you restore water bodies? Can you restore water, replenish water resources, and can it take form of a water restoration certificate? Uh, Analysis have been limited to energy simulation, daylight simulation, movement of air, which is called the CFD simulation, fire simulation. Can there be analysis that can analyze triple bottom line, that can ensure that apart from economics, you are keeping in mind society and environment as well during building a building or during executing a project? Ergonomics I spoke about. Acoustical performance. It's already covered since a while in the rating system, but the other rating systems are now adapting to it, and acoustical performance is now being viewed very seriously. Biophilic design for indoor environment. Can you have indoor plants? Can you have biophilic design, which can also add to air quality issues, also add to the visual appeal, and make buildings appear green? Safety was viewed very differently. Only a few credits, points, principles I've seen in green building rating system, which also cater to primarily the health and safety guideline. But during occupancy, can safety be a part of building's prime motive? Social equity within the supply chain. Can your supply chain be socially equitable? Uh, Bird collision deterrence. Can you imagine this can be a green building rating point? Bird collision deterrence, where a lot of birds, especially those in glass buildings, they're flying and they're not able to see ahead, and they collide with these buildings and die every year. So can you do something which can deter these bird collisions? So look at this horizon at which these green building rating systems are looking at, and where they anticipate to go 10 years down the line. Social equity within the community that you're living in, especially with the onset of affordable housing under several chief minister and prime minister schemes. Can a green building, can a building design ensure that there is social equity within the community? Can the building adapt to climate? Can the building change according to its climate? If you cross the Airtel building on the Delhi Gurgaon highway, you will, if you happen to go there sometime, you will see that they have fins in the building that trap the air during summers and make it an insulator, and let it conduct the air during winters and make it a conductor. So such climate adaptive techniques, phase change materials, all these things are bound to come in, and these are the next few years of green building design. To sum up, a few insights on how green buildings, not only they improve your uh, visual appearance in terms of how you portray as a developer, as a builder, as an owner, because you're building green. Uh, they are also tangible economic benefits such as increased rental rates, occupant comfort, stock prices. Greening an existing building which has come to age can increase property value again. A public entity like a city or a university can make stride in improved image. Organization focuses on environmental issues, which is also very useful in uplifting the entire mood of the organization. Lower energy use increases competitive edge, especially people have reduced their production costs by implementing renewable energy and things like that. Uh, Companies incorporating sustainability have more ownership in their people and they perform better. And also, it increases productivity and willingness to learn and also comfort. Few aspects just to cover what green buildings look like as of today. Location, transportation, um, which in green building system, rating system 10 years back. Now green building rating systems also talk about integrated design, where they say the architect, the engineer, the owner, everyone should sit on a table, do a design chart, and ensure that all of them are on the same page. All of them throw ideas and make sure a sustainable building is being built. Integrated approach is a very project management principle and was not a part of a green building design system 10 years ago. Location and transportation was seen a lot in fragments. It was seen like whether you have access to your local community, whether you have access to local shops, and whether you have access to bus transit system. But now it is being seen in a more holistic way, whether how easy it is, along with it being energy efficient and life cycle efficient. Sustainable site planning has evolved, water management has evolved. I was talking about the water efficiency or water land protection, one of the very important aspects of a green building. You shouldn't build on a wetland, you shouldn't build on a protected zone, you shouldn't build on one. Diverse users, uh, you should have access to diverse users, you should have access to quality transits. Parking footprint, it has been often debated whether more parking or less parking. The green building design has evolved to say that you should only give adequate parking, neither more nor less, because if you increase parking in a building, people might be encouraged to buy more individual transport vehicles such as cars. Few examples for sustainable site planning: tree pavers, gravel roads, etc., swales, uh, which includes the site planning includes topsoil preservation, erosion control, sedimentation, uh, tank provisions, preserving existing trees. You might have seen several buildings where, in order to preserve a tree, the building was built around it. Those technologies are well functioning. Those buildings are well functioning to the day and age. Erosion control measures, structural control measures, some construction activity pollution prevention measures. These are just of what sustainable site plan and continues to evolve. So I'm just skimming through because these are known green building aspects such as heat island effect is one of them. Earlier it was said that only vegetated roofs and tiles and things were there, but now a lot more inbuilt reflective materials, sheets are coming into picture, which can replace these systems. There are tiles that are made of mine minerals. Water management system has also evolved. People have started collecting rainwater in their own premises and ensuring that rainwater does not go waste and can serve them year round. Uh, the flow rates have come down by a lot. Sensor-based urinals, waterless urinals, uh, flow fixtures with aerators. Aerators are now available for as less as 150 rupees on online platforms, which you can directly order online and install in your faucets and do away with expensive flow water systems, and you don't have to do anything. Just order aerator online and you can be water efficient as any other green building. So the cost of technology has also reduced, and technology has come a long way. Inverter ACs to low flow fixtures, everything is getting affordable by the day. And thus our energy consumption, our comfort in buildings is also rising with the rising awareness about green buildings. This was a building in Jaipur that we did. I thought we'll take a case study, and this is a green building. It is based in Mahindra Sales, the building footprint is 2643 square meter with a built-up area of almost 1 lakh square feet. This was awarded 20 in location and transportation, where the neighborhood development uh, uh, was not there, but then sensitive land protection, surrounding density very well. Access to quality transits was there. Bicycle facilities were provided. Green vehicles not provided at that point of time, but parking footprint was definitely kept in a check. Site assessment, and it was ensured that no site disturbance is unnecessarily created. Open spaces were left. Rainwater was collected. Was assured, and light pollution. In water, entire water was metered. It is said that whatever you cannot measure, you cannot manage, and therefore water metering is becoming popular, especially given the low cost and low cost of metering. And once you are able to measure water consumption at each end use, you will be able to monitor the water level, the water consumption also to a large extent. Outdoor water use reduction, indoor water use reduction was also attempted, and it was certified as gold in the V4 category of the LEED rating system. So a lot of green green buildings are now coming up in our cities and surroundings, and I would encourage you that as buildings evolve, as we evolve, as our needs evolve, continue to look out for opportunities to make your lives more sustainable, to make your buildings more green. Uh, there is a program by National Housing Bank where if you go for affordable housing green rating, the entire certification fee for that rating will be reimbursed by National Housing Bank. So several other schemes by several states, extra FAR in buildings. Jaipur already has extra FAR for buildings. Several other schemes have been rolled out from time to time by different states and municipalities. And make sure you continue to evolve with these buildings, and you continue to evolve with the technologies around you, and we add value to the future by building sustainable and being sustainable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. There is some question also. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. There is a question from Mr. Janjay. What are the main challenges in green building construction? I think you have covered this question, but if you can.
So I'll definitely. So the main challenge is, I think, in my view, it is lack of planning. Because if you decide to put something as simple as a low flow fixture, after you have already decided or ordered these fixtures, which are not low flow, the replacement gets very difficult. So if you can plan your building right in the very beginning and make sure whatever you are putting in is decided in the beginning, you are aware of the technologies, you can take as many inputs as you want. That is when you can cut down cost building a green building. But the main challenge is that a lot of times people realize after the construction has started, or after some stage has reached in the project execution, that they want to make a green building, and then it becomes costly, and it becomes also inefficient if you are replacing already ordered items once again. So the main challenge, according to me, is not the cost. It is not lack of expertise. It is the lack of planning. Any
Thank
other
you,
question?
sir. Thank you. And there is one more question from Mr. Alkender Singh. Is government action for developing smart city is helpful for development of green buildings?
Definitely, sir. Smart green buildings are an essential part of smart cities, and in smart cities mission, we have a lot of budgets as well. But basic things like access, basic things like uh, access to facilities, access to internet. See, when I said during the entire presentation, I said green buildings are now not only about efficiency; they are more about comfort. They are more about user experience. So when we say that smart cities do uh, cater to user experience. Smart cities do cater to our urban problems, and therefore green buildings will very well amalgamate with smart cities and will form. Though the smart city mission has not really picked up that well till now, especially after that the pandemic has come in. But I'm sure that as the smart city mission progresses in the country, green buildings will be an integral part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite our Jaipur chapter president, Mr. Kishan Khatri, for vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank
You
you,
are
sir,
audible.
for inviting me for delivering the vote of thanks. I really appreciate, today's session that Mr. Kushagra Juneja has wonderfully explained about the different existing rating system, what the different credits, criteria, major criteria are there in that rating system. I really appreciate that he has well explained about the past, present, and future about the green buildings and what the sustainability is. He has also beautifully explained about that what is next. The next is all about the net zero energy building, the local food, the comfort, the acoustic, the safety, the climate action, the economics. I do really agree. I do agree that these all things have started implementing, and the future is this only. So I think that lots of questions which have been taken by Anramji that are also important, and the things which explained by Mr. Kushagra Juneja was really amused to me, and that was really a very important for me and all the participants. So thank you, Mr. Kushagra Juneja, for giving time to the ISHRE to this platform. So
Thank you very much.
So thank you, Endram sir. Thank you all the participants for coming and joining in today's session. Thank you.
Thank you to all attendees and Kushagra ji for today's session.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, bye bye. Good night to all.
Good night, sir.